Hi everyone. You know what? Some of you may have gotten one of these as a gift, and I'm still learning how to use it. But you know, one of the things I keep hearing is that it makes amazing oatmeal. And you know, one of the other things I hear continuously as people come in to see me is that I'm eating perfectly. Why can't I lose weight? Why do I get so bloated after I eat, or gassy, or constipated? And you know, they're taking lots of supplements and they don't know how to deal with the most basic issue. And no perfect piece of equipment that makes the food perfectly, or a perfect organic diet undigested, solves this problem. So let's set aside the equipment and let's talk about real food. Now this is oatmeal, and I can see that this one had a little bit of water in the glass, so we're not going to use it. We're going to let it be our control so that it has a head start to see if it can get its act together. Because what I want to do is demonstrate what happens when you don't digest and when you do. And I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times on television, in lectures, at stores, in videos. And you know, no matter how many times I do it, I always wonder, will it work? And it always does. And this is something that you can do at home. You can take some oatmeal, put it in 2 different containers. This is just plain old instant oatmeal. And go get a cheaper enzyme at the health food store. I used to do that. And while we had this one, we had the cheap one, and we had what I know works, we would put the other one in here. And at the end, it usually looked pretty much exactly like this. And that's what happens inside of you. And when you can't digest your food, you don't get the energy, you don't get nutrition, you wonder what's wrong with you, you take another supplement, you try to work harder and harder at more perfect eating, and it's not the issue. We have to know how to digest our food. So I'm going to talk about all this in a minute, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take pan. This is for carbohydrates, but it really wouldn't matter which one you used. I'm just going to do that because that's what's closest to me. And I'm just going to take 2 capsules. And if we didn't open up the capsules, this would take maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't want to take that long, so I'm going to open it up. Either way works. And if you want to be really scientific, just leave the capsule with the enzymes in it, just stir it into the oatmeal. Take a capsule or a tablet of the cheaper one, do the exact same thing, and you'll be amazed. Because the fact is, this capsule dissolves too. So I'm not trying to cheat, I just want to save you a little bit of time. So we're going to take those 2 capsules, because that's a normal dose. So this oatmeal has a little bit of liquid, so I left it as our control one. This one had no extra liquid, it was super thick. Now what I've done is I have simply started stirring in the enzymes, because that's what your stomach does. It sits there and squeezes, that's stomach action. Now already in about 15 seconds, this is already more liquefied than this one. So we're just going to let it sit for a minute so I can share some other little tidbits for you. You know, with 100 hours of postgraduate work as an enzyme specialist, digestive specialist, this is something that transformed my practice in working with people over 16 years ago. You know, I did so many different supplements and nothing compared to the Loomis products. And once I learned how to use them and how to make recommendations, it completely changed the results I got. And we still have people that maybe I haven't seen in years. They understand the value of this and they're still using it. Yep, that enzyme has gone to work. It's getting pretty soupy. Okay, so let's look at some options. Yeah, this one hasn't changed much. It's got chunks. It's got the water that was still there, but it's not breaking down. Now let's go through, because some of you get confused, and I want to give you some easy ways to remember this. And I also want to remind you that when you're part of Easy, you can email me, you can put a question on the Facebook page, because that's part of the value of having a virtual coach. Okay, now if you deal with heartburn, you or spouse or family member, and it's heartburn after every meal, not an occasional food. If you deal with heartburn, acid reflux, belching after certain meals, it's usually the food that you've eaten. On the other hand, if it's all the time, STM for stomach. It's easy to remember. This is incredibly helpful to make sure that you can heal that stomach lining. You see, the issue is not that you have too much stomach acid. That's not how our bodies were created. What happens is, under stress, over a long period of time, our stomach lining gets holes in it. It's compromised. Now the acid is getting where it shouldn't be. But if you're taking that purple pill or you're taking PPIs, protein pump inhibitors, to try and reduce acid, you just created a bigger problem. Because when you don't have enough stomach acid, what happens is now you can't digest your protein, break down bacteria, or deal with parasites. Much bigger issue. What you want to do with that situation is take 2 of the stomach with every meal, or even 3 if it's a really severe issue. The second thing you want to do is that whenever you have pain during the day or night, 1 to 4, because that will help clear up that stomach lining. Now, depending on the issue, it's going to take 3 to 6 months for that stomach lining to heal. So you're going to be on that for a while. But once you're off, typically, you're going to move on to vascular to heal the vascular system because of the damage of all that other stuff. Now, let's say that you don't have heartburn, but you don't have a clue where to start. Well, then let's do digest. And the cool thing about digest, easy to remember, DGST, to digest your food, you can get the large size or an itty bitty size. And here's what's fun about doing this. Great way to start for you. But secondly, this is great for children and pets. So if you have dogs or cats that eat and go, oh, you're like, oh, that stinks. That means they're not digesting their food. Chances are you've got a food that's not good for your pet, but this will at least help. So depending on the size of the child or the pet, consider 150 pounds an adult, so that's the 2 capsules. If they're 75 pounds, then 1. And you can open it up because it has no taste. Or if the child or the pet can swallow a capsule, then you can do the whole thing. So that takes care of our 2 most popular. Now again, look at the difference in the oatmeal. It is completely breaking down after just a few minutes. This hasn't changed at all. Now, the other that I want to mention, let's see, what's here? Oh, HCl. Let's say that you're over 45, and when you eat, everything sets like a brick in your stomach. Typically, that means you don't have enough stomach acid, and HCl, hydrochloric acid. This isn't hydrochloric acid, it's just helping the body make more. Big difference, 2 per meal. Now, some of you have asked over time, okay, I have this GM stuff, what do I do with it? Well, GMH3 is to help you digest and break down GMOs. And where would you find GMOs? Restaurants, fast food, when you're traveling. So this is one to have available in your car, in your purse, in your bag when you travel or eat out. 1 to 2 per meal makes your body able to break down those GMOs. Now, the last little tricks to keep this
that was
easy is you don't just take these morning and evening. When do you take them? With food, because you want the enzymes to work on the food. So if you tend to forget, set it where you'll see it. You may want to set your bottle of enzyme on the kitchen table. You may want to set it on the counter. You may want to have a bag with the name written on it, because if you just put capsules in a bag and you forget what's in it, what do? You throw it away because you don't know what it is. So a capsule, and here several capsules, keep it in your purse or car. You have it when you go out to eat. And when I travel, I have these. I have my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, my evening. I put them in here. If I'm gone for 5 days, I do 5 of them. And it's all taken care of. It's organized. And you know what? I love it. Forrest thinks it's goofy, but that's okay. So regardless of the equipment you use, and regardless of what your diet is, hopefully pretty good, without an enzyme, chances are you're not digesting. How do you know if you don't need an enzyme? Well, it's really, really simple. You have a lot of live food from mineral-rich soil. You eat all organic, no commercial meats or eggs or dairy. You're not under any stress. You don't eat too fast. You have no gas, no bloating, perfect bowels, and you feel energized after you eat. Well, so far, I don't know anybody that fits that bill, not even me. And if you're a blood type A, enzymes become your very best friend. And if you have people in your family that you love, enzymes are one of the best and most comprehensive way to help them. So make sure you're digesting your food, because when it's stuck, so is your GI tract, so are your bowels. Enzymes, your very best friend, at the top of the list of what to do when you want to supplement.